We are live. This is Beyond the Buzzer for, wow, December 7th of 2020. And I'm your host, Dane Thompson, checking with you live tonight in the beautiful city of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we're live here on Zingo Television, Blackjack TV, and anywhere you hear the sound of my voice, YouTube, and everywhere else. And, you know, for those who never watched this show, shame on you. But guess what? Welcome. Now, at the same time, as if you've never seen the show before, you don't know the man to the right of me. And guess what? That's definitely a shame on you. He's the co-host and also otherwise known as a student of the game, 3-point conversion, UCF college football, and also my tag team partner. If we were wrestling, I promise you, he's more than just the Big Show. He's actually pretty agile. He's more Kevin Nash. My main man, the student of the game, Mr. Kyle Nash. How you doing, my friend?
So I got to ask you, dude, when we do the team up, who's the one that climbs up on the top rope? Is that me?
I mean, if we're going with the full-fledged NWO outsiders, I'm more of the non hair greasy Scott Hall, and you are Kevin Nash, because guess what? You are tall, and your last name is Nash. I think it pretty much fits the bill.
And listen, as COVID has taught me, if I let my hair grow, it's very dark compared to the Big Show or Big Sexy, but at the end of the day, it worked. It could get that long and flow like a gorgeous ebony river down my back.
Yes. Speaking of flow, who else can do music and flow like our good friends at Valor, as you see over in the top left hand of my corner? That is at its.valor.us. Everything that's involving music, because their flow is amazing. If you're looking for gifts, they can whip them up with the best of them. And also at the same time, if you're looking to expand your business through marketing, digital platforms, that's the guys you got to deal with. Tell my man Jay Wydell that Kyle and Danny sent you from Beyond the Buzzer.
Hey,
also,
they even made a fire alarm famous, allegedly.
Blame my apartment complex, okay?
I still do. It's just a great joke.
I know. I know. Listen, Jarvis, we're going to talk about your skins in just a second.
I mean, we win the rest of the year. Like,
listen, he's a Washington football team fan. What more do you want from this man? Okay,
he has Alex Smith. I'm just saying.
Listen. But to give Jarvis his props, Jarvis is a full-fledged. He's from the DC area. Okay, so he represents everything DC. Okay, he's one of the guys I know that is a true Redskins fan. I'm gonna give them all shots in a second.
True.
But I'm giving out shots, give a shout out to our good friends at Mentality Barbershop at 2611 North Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. Check out my main man Corey Lamar, Dio, and the entire crew over there. If you need a haircut, because I haven't gotten mine yet, but they'll line you up because it's the holiday season.
Hey, Danny, I couldn't tell. Did you say Redskins or Red Tails?
I mean, the whatchamacallits.
WTF. Anyways.
Listen, you know what, Kyle, speaking of things that make you go WTF, I know we don't really usually talk about stuff that's non-sports related on the show. This is Mount Rushmore. Kyle, I just want your 30-second opinion on the fact of there's a Lifetime movie which is going to be going on for 15 minutes on Saturday involving Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. Yeah. I just want your 30 seconds to speak on that because it kind of leads into my next topic here.
Well, I'll put it this way. I never expected it. I don't know that I asked for it, but I'm going to get it. And hey, listen, if we can figure out why Gustavo Fring was the magic, air quotes, behind Los Pollos Hermanos, we can figure out why through Mario Lopez, Wallace Sanders was referred to as the Colonel.
Listen, all I know is that Mario Lopez has now got gray hair, wearing short sleeves, and playing the Colonel in a love story.
I mean, does he not have gorgeous gray hair? Give the dude a try.
Listen.
I could call another man gorgeous. Come at me. Whatever.
It's not the fact you call another man gorgeous. I just find the fact that this man's playing Colonel Sanders, which finds it damn near hilarious to me.
Is that appropriation? I don't know.
I don't know, but this crosses all the lines of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. I don't think they could have came up with this one.
But you're going to watch it, right? I mean, I'm not, but you will.
It's better than Big Ten football at this point. What more do you want from me on a Saturday afternoon? It's more competitive than Ohio State attempting to try to win games when knowing good and well COVID is better than them.
I mean, listen, they're not the most respectable schedule in Ohio right now. I can tell you that. Hashtag I said it.
This is for the first time in about 3 years, I can say Ohio State's not even the best football team in the state anymore.
Whoa.
All right. Speaking of sharing love stories, let's talk about the NBA because guess what? It's training camp season. It's underway. And Kyle, we were just literally talking about the NBA Finals, and preseason starts on Friday.
Right.
Like we literally, Kyle, we just went through the most microwavable lean cuisine offseason in the history of the NBA.
Microwavable offseason. Hey, listen, Danny, here's the thing. I don't mean to burst your bubble, but it's not a whole lot of time. You saw what I did there. I like it. I thought eventually you heard the boonk sound for my dunk. No, I'm interested. It's hard for me to be air quotes excited for it because football is still so much in full swing, and even with COVID, it's all very compelling. But I am very interested to see how they handle it logistically. So I'm sure you're about to talk me through that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how it's all going to affect you. And also, like Jarvis did earlier, if you are on the Facebook Live,
yes,
go on the video, click on it, talk to us. We want your opinions. We want to hear what you have to say. Unless you're Rodney Richardson, then we tell you what you have to say. All right. So, listen.
Wait,
the NBA.
I finally got it up, dude. I'm just saying. No, not JJ Watt. I mean the jersey. It's finally up.
I was saying the best 75 Nash in the history of sports.
I might be the only one, but that's okay.
Hey, listen, it's still the best in sports. All right. Speaking of things that are not exactly lovable, huggable, with no time frame. Listen, because it took you a long time to get the Nash jersey up. Let me tell you what's not taking a long time. James Harden has not reported to. James Harden is not reported to camp right now. What's up, Courtney? We'll talk about your Titans in a minute. Listen, James Harden has not come to camp, and he has no timetable on when he's showing up. At this point, there's normally a difference between saying when you go up to a party, it's good to be fashionably late. At this point, since it's now Monday, with preseason games starting on Friday. This has become fashionably disrespectful. Unlike showing up to the party where it comes free before 10 at the club, if this is a 2 a.m. club, which James Harden frequents a lot of times, including ones that throw money, he's showing up. Right now, it's 1:35 in the evening, and it closes at 2, and James Harden is nowhere to be found.
And they just called for Last Dance.
Oh, they've already closed the bar down at this point. Yeah. Listen. James Harden's a holdout, hasn't talked to anybody in the Rockets organization, and to quote Steven Silas today, we don't know when he's showing up. No one knows. PJ Tucker, who's having a situation with his contract, was asked today when he showed up his thoughts on James Harden. He said, I'm only answering questions on PJ Tucker. Ironically, because Tucker and James Harden are extreme close. All right. Now, we don't know per NBA protocol rules if James Harden has caught COVID-19. Okay, we don't know. There were 48 players that were in the first sweep of COVID-19 when training camps opened. The only player that I know of to this moment that has tested positive for COVID in the bubble is Malik Monk of the Charlotte Hornets. And that was confirmed by James Borrego over the weekend. That Monk is not with the team. There's only 19 of the 20 guys there, and he's the one that tested positive for COVID. The other 47 players, we don't know. All I do know is Draymond Green is not in Golden State camp right now, and neither is James Wiseman. Steve Kerr has said they're just not here. There's no, and I'll let you come up with the rest of it.
I mean, I would make a comment about how demanding Steph Curry's wife can be on occasion, but that would be just disrespectful.
All we know is that we don't know which 47 other players have tested positive for COVID. What we do know is James Harden is in an impasse with his franchise right now. He's very unhappy, and he didn't even show up for an individual workout on Sunday. Not a team workout, an individual workout. He's now endangering himself of being able not to be able to play for the first preseason games because it's not like it's Mike D'Antoni he's dealing with. He's working with a brand new head coach in Steven Silas, a brand new staff. And guess what? His starting backcourt mate, Russell Westbrook's in Washington because he was traded for John Wall in the trade of two of the biggest and most unmovable contracts in professional sports were traded for one another. Listen, only thing that we all know at this point, for those who don't know, is John Wall and James Harden had a conversation sometime this week. Woj reported that they had a conversation that went very well, and they're both excited about playing one another. You can take it for what it is. What we do know is this man's not at camp. It's going to be Tuesday. If he shows up, he's got to go through COVID protocol, which means he might not hit the floor until Thursday at the earliest, even if he passes COVID test. But Kyle, wait, there's more.
Oh,
James Harden was at a party for the rapper Lil Baby, not the baby, not baby from Cash Money, and also not the baby from one of my favorite movies, Boss Baby. He was at the rapper Baby's,
and not Baby Yoda, because his growth.
Definitely not Baby Yoda, because Baby Yoda's parties would have still been going on right now, straight Mandalorian style.
There you go.
All right, big shouts to Baby Yoda. No, it can be Baby Yoda. Thank you. All right, James Harden was at a party with the rapper Lil Baby over the weekend, which was Kyle not with mask.
I just want my little girl to be able to go to school, people. Get it right.
Listen, this was a party at a club. What more can you say? This is it is what it is. All right. So, only thing that we do know is that Silas has expressed uncertainty about when Harden's going to show up. And the last thing we know is Harden have requested to be traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Okay. This is going to get ugly and going to get ugly soon. At this point, Harden is playing the hand of an NFL player, Kyle, that's looking for a holdout, the contract situation. You can tell when a man doesn't want to be in a location where he turns down $50 million a season. Kyle, $50 million.
Yeah, no, you're there. Thank you, Bobby. $50 million. There you go. I didn't match the reading, but I wasn't ready. I should have been, but I wasn't. My bad.
Vince, I'll get to the 8 seeds for the top conferences. That's a good question. I will do that. I'll do that on December 21st show. And the reason why, Vince, I'll say December 21st is because it'll be the day before the season starts, and we'll have kind of a listing of who is not here. We'll have a chance to see preseason. We'll have a chance to get rotations down, and we'll also know about which players won't start the season. So if I had to give you, what I'll give you now is I'll give you the 3 best teams in each conference, and I'll give you 2 teams to watch for, and then we'll go from there. In the East, the 3 best teams right now, as currently constructed, before we even touch games on Friday, you're looking at Milwaukee, you're looking at Miami, and you're looking at, in my opinion, the Boston Celtics. Those are the 3 best teams in the East.
So the not the trendy talk of Philly and Brooklyn, as fans might hope, but those typical 3.
Well, here's the reason why I don't say Brooklyn. Kevin Durant won't be playing very much the first half of the season anyway. He's going to be a minute restriction. And Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. For as much as healthy as he's been, he has been a health concern. Brooklyn doesn't care about the regular season. They don't. The only thing they concern themselves with is making sure Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are healthy when game 1 of the playoff starts. That's when Brooklyn will go on their romp to destroy everybody in the Eastern Conference. As long as those 2 are healthy, they will run through the Eastern Conference like macaroni and cheese, 7-day-old macaroni and cheese on Thanksgiving. Okay, your Thanksgiving macaroni and cheese you eat 7 days later goes through your system. The Brooklyn Nets will run through the Eastern Conference the same way if those 2 are healthy. It's very simple.
As uniquely graphic as that vision is, I would still be concerned about the concept of this healthy team getting ground up by, let's say, Giannis and company in Milwaukee or the Celtics, a physical team like that.
Here's the thing. There's nothing worse, and Kyle, you know this better because you've covered the NFL. You've watched sports for years and covered the NFL and college football. Mm-hmm. You know this better. There's nothing better than a player who's pissed off coming off an injury.
That's
and
true.
Who's been told that he can't do it. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Brooklyn has the ultimate one in Kevin Durant. You've been told that you have the injury that nobody comes back from. The death wish of injuries you have. Mm-hmm. So guess what? You now are going to prove to the world that you are healthy.
He's trying to pull an
and that's the thing.
I get you.
Yeah, but remember, the Achilles in the NBA is a killer. It kills careers. The team that you want to watch for in the Eastern Conference is the Atlanta Hawks. Listen, they spent money on Danilo Gallinari. They bought Bojan Bogdanovic. John Collins is not going to miss 25 games, and we all know what Trigger Trey can do. They have a bunch of young guys. Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, and guess what? I hadn't even mentioned the fact that they acquired Clint Capella last year from the Houston Rockets, a shot-blocking, rebounding, dunk-grabbing fiend. Listen, they added Nate McMillan to help on defense and coaching, and you have Lloyd Pierce. In a situation like this, Atlanta is completely dangerous. Now, out west, I'll answer Jason Metnick's question. The Warriors could have won the West if Klay Thompson was healthy. Game, set, match. The Warriors can't win the West. No matter, I don't care if Steph Curry scores 35 points a game. you're not going to make up the loss of Klay Thompson offensively. And also what Klay Thompson brings to you defensively either. Arguably the second best shooter in the NBA is out for the entire season. James Wiseman, we don't know what he has, and Draymond Green is still out right now. The Warriors can't win the West right now under the way they're currently constructed. These three teams are the favorites in the West. You still have the LA Lakers, who are the defending NBA champions, and guess what? They reloaded and got better due to the wonderful maneuvering of Rich Paul. I didn't say Rob Pelinka. I said Rich Paul. Okay.
I mean,
listen.
Go ahead. I thought
go ahead, Kyle.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, anyone who's shocked about the usual suspects out west, I got nothing for you. Like, I mean, we're it's not as bad as the Kansas City Chiefs, let's say, in the AFC, but we're pretty much crowning the Lakers to return to the finals on paper here, right? I mean,
yes, because I'm gonna explain about maybe in about 2 minutes why I think this is the NBA is helping superstars this year. All right, outside of the Lakers, you have the Denver Nuggets. Listen, the Nuggets, yeah, okay. Courtland, remember the last time Steph Curry and Klay Thompson was pissed off without Kevin Durant and what they did? They won 73 games that year.
He's got a good point.
Listen, you got to go with the Denver Nuggets at number 2. Michael Porter Jr. is now sliding into that third scorer role next to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. That's all you have to say. Porter is going to be a monster. If he stays healthy, he is going to be a monster. Third, all right. Yeah, they complained. Yeah, Kawhi lives out in San Diego and causes team flights to be delayed. And yes, Paul George tried to attempt to throw his almost father-in-law under the bus. I said almost father-in-law. I don't want to go into the reason why he's not his father-in-law.
Oh boy.
There's a whole bunch of dissension in the franchise, but Tyronn Lue's job, and he's done it very well, is managing egos. The Clippers are still the third best team in the Western Conference, even with Montrezl Harrell going down the hall, and they have a brand new head coach. The Clippers are still the Clippers, and they still got Kawhi Leonard. Now, what's going on with the NBA right now? Okay, the NBA has just passed, Kyle, some new rules when it comes to injuries.
Oh, boy.
All right. Oh, there's a $100,000 fine for players missing national television games. So, when the Lakers are on television, expect to see LeBron James and those guys be playing, all right? But what they have become lax on is on players taking games off for load management on non-national television games, especially teams that had to go deep into the playoffs, a.k.a. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, and for key guys that played key roles in those teams that got deep in the playoffs, they are allowed a little bit more of a leeway when it comes to rest.
Because of a Gordon Hayward, not just on LeBron, you know.
Listen, Gordon Hayward needs no load management, okay? He plays in Charlotte. He needs to play as many games as possible at this point. But yes.
I mean, considering the kind of injury he had was what I meant.
That injury was 2 years ago. The broken leg was a couple years ago, all right?
Well, no, but I mean, he was missing some time in the playoffs, too. It wasn't as bad as the broken leg, sure.
Yes, but a lot of the things going on in the league right now, you have to really? Is this what we're going to do now? Rodney, you just came to the show.
What do you think was going to happen, Sir Purr?
Rodney's starting early. Laugh track. I need a laugh track here. All I'm saying is this. When you look at the way the NBA is shaped, is really helping out the guys that play a lot of load management. There's going to be a lot more load management, so the Kawhi Leonard effect is going to take place. It is what it is. So the rest will happen with a lot of road games. I know people say, what about the guys that come to town? Listen, the 98% of the NBA not going to have fans the first half of the season anyway. So guess what? They come to your town. You're not going to see them anyway unless you're in your local broadcasting network.
Mm-hmm.
So they're being a little bit more lax with non-national television games. He shows up. You know what, Kyle? Big shout out to my main man, Kafani, over in South Carolina. But you know what, Kyle? I've known Kafani for over 12 years, all right? Kafani's the one person that will call me during the show to ask me what I'm doing, knowing that I've been doing the show for over a year and a half now. Now he wants to ship it with Go Lakers. That's all I'm saying.
I mean,
big shout out to my man, Big Cat.
At least he's letting you do the show, man. That's a step up. You got to take the wins where you can get them, partner.
By the way, we don't have a laugh track. I don't know if you heard it or not.
It's not Rodney's comments?
Oh, Rodney made a comment. There it is.
Yes. As we're upgrading the show, you see Bobby Blackjack in the background. All right, so the team to watch in the Western Conference, listen, Phoenix fell one game short of the playoffs last year, and it's not because they lost, it's because they didn't play enough games. They fell a half game behind the playoffs, and they added Chris Paul. Everywhere Chris Paul has been acquired, the team has gotten exponentially better and also had deep playoff runs. The combination of Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul should scare the Western Conference right now. Listen, Devin Booker averaged almost 30 points a game in the bubble. DeAndre Ayton was healthy. And guess what? If DeAndre Ayton didn't get suspended like John Collins did in his 25 games, we don't know where the Suns would have been. Now they're healthy. You got a point guard who still got something to prove and has been playing. It was a second-team All-NBA guy last year. That's my team to watch. All right. So, Kyle, we've talked NBA. We've talked about it. So NBA 19 and COVID. Just be prepared for a lot of guys resting on non-national television games. I expect LeBron James to play damn near all these games on national TV. I think they got 14 of them in the first 36. All right. For those complaining about national TV games, listen, the Washington Wizards only got 0, even though they got Russell Westbrook. The schedule, I think, was completed for national television before the John Wall trade.
No doubt.
I don't expect the Washington Wizards to have 0 games on national television with Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. I just don't expect it. Now, if you're like the Orlando Magic,
0 games.
That's what it is.
Can you give a game back somehow? I don't think there's a way to have negative national game. Anyway.
Listen, what we can give back, Kyle, is another wonderful week in college football. Let's give back to college. Let's give into college football, Kyle, because guess what? Week 14 in college football was interesting.
You had Ohio State. The understatement of the entire bloody year, son. And we're in December. Okay. I have the measuring stick.
So here's what we have in week 14. We have Ohio State fans saying that their 40-point victory over Michigan State was worth something. We had Marshall, who was playing some of their best football of the year, get shut out at home by Rice. And I don't mean Minute or Uncle Ben.
Listen, the only team that might have had a worse schedule than BYU up to this weekend might be Marshall. I'm going to throw that out there.
Speaking of BYU and the ultimate come at me bro game, listen, give BYU and Coastal Carolina a lot of credit for this. Not only did they decide to say, you know what, BYU say, you know what, we have an open challenge, and for Coastal Carolina to accept the open challenge in the middle of the week, and for BYU to literally fly across country, and for ESPN to make this a game day game, this should be how college football should be. UCF and Florida, take a page from this. Okay, you complain about ducking and everything else. Listen, BYU said we'll play anybody to strengthen our schedule. Coastal Carolina's like, listen, we want to show people in the entire nation that we deserve to be part of a New Year's Six bowl game. We need strength of schedule because Liberty screwed the pooch against NC State and cost them their last ring game.
They lost by a point in a game that would have been their second Power 5 victory of the year. Let's be clear on that. Which also strengthens
Coastal Carolina's odds to get higher because you need to beat as many teams as possible with good records, especially in a year like this.
Correct.
So big shouts to BYU to go across country. Now, mind you, the cheap shot of the quarterback in the third quarter wasn't exactly regal, by the way.
It was just trash.
It was a very, very borderline bad play, which basically overshadowed the fact that Coastal Carolina came on a national stage and performed and beat BYU 22-17. The Chanticleers are now undefeated still. And now, if they beat Liberty, listen, ball's in Cincinnati's court at this point. Cincinnati has to win out at this point.
Oh, of course. That was true either way, right?
But I think now Coastal Carolina has what you call they have a leg to stand on. If
the fight, sure.
I think honestly, if Cincinnati loses the game down the stretch, I think Coastal Carolina has the right to say they're better than the one-loss Cincinnati team.
Okay. I'll put that aside because that's an interesting conversation. I'm not prepared to say no yet. I personally don't think so, but I could be called biased. because I cover the American Athletic Conference, and they are, in fact, a conference that's superior to the ACC. We've heard my stance on that and all of that. And no, I'm not saying it because UCF is in there. I'm saying that because the ACC, generally speaking, other than the top two teams, maybe 3 or 4 if you want to include UNC and Miami, they're okay. Rodney Richardson, we'll get back to your inaccuracy in just a moment. But the punchline being, other than those top 4 teams, who do they really have? I'm supposed to get excited about BC, but I digress. The punchline being this, friend. Here's the issue with the BYU Coastal Carolina game. First of all, the Chanticleers have to win a New Year's Six Bowl before we can even talk about them getting into a national championship through the Colley matrix, going the back door, kind of like UCF did. That's what he's referencing. It's not a fake championship. It's in the history books. You can feel how you want to about it. You could think it's just a marketing ploy. That's what I would have called it myself.
And besides, Clemson was national champions that year, by the way. But continue, Kyle.
Oh, they were, and they shared a portion of it with UCF.
I thought Alabama. That was Alabama. I said Clemson wasn't part of the discussion. It was Alabama and UCF arguing, not Clemson.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's great. I'm still going to beat you in a 40-yard dash. But the punchline is this, friends.
And your elbows might not be as ashy as his. But continue.
But here's the issue with that game. And listen, on paper and in theory, it sounds like the right thing to do. I get that. Here's what happened with BYU losing that game. All they really did was expose themselves as a pretender. Every other game on their schedule, not named Coastal Carolina, was trash. Which, by the way, I find it interesting. The team that claims anytime, anywhere said no to Washington when they got that invite. Now, granted, I say that I don't mind them telling Washington they did.
Well, listen, but Kyle, this was different, Kyle.
No, hold on. I'm going to get
okay.
The logistics were terrible. I agree, because you're about to check me on them. Like, no, Danny Thompson. I agree with you that Washington game was only good in theory. The logistics were a problem. I have no idea how exactly they got the Coastal Carolina thing to work logistically when they couldn't get Washington. I don't have the answer, but here's the truth. I really think Coastal Carolina wanted it more. I'm just going to call it that. In either case, either of those games to be played would have been the best on BYU's schedule at the time. Now that they've lost, all we did was have Coastal Carolina play the role of Justin Timberlake. How do I mean that? It's a halftime show, and BYU is Janet Jackson. And all Coastal Carolina did was expose them. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, BYU took the game. Okay. The reason why BYU took the game is very simple. Kyle's point. Wow, I get up to my own show. Good job, Bobby. Classic points on that one. Listen, the reason why BYU took the game is, like you said, Kyle, their strength of schedule was straight. Like it was comparable to basically playing a bunch of community colleges all year. BYU played nobody all year, and you had to build some kind of credibility to the Power Six committee, and to get into a Power Six game by saying, "Hey, we beat a ranked team," because obviously the Washington game was loaded. It wasn't to their advantage. They were going to get a complete job over in that game. It was coming. Right. Pac-12 officials on the road. Come on.
Well, if they're that good, they would have been convincing.
But Kyle, if you're an AD, Kyle, think about this. Yes, would you send your school to play another school with their conference rules at their stadium when your undefeated season's on the line? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I hear you. And again, I agree with the move to cancel it out as they did. But at day's end, at the very least, you take a PR hit. Now, from the standpoint that they can bounce back from that because they accepted the Coastal Carolina invite, totally get it. That's neutralized now. So I give them credit for doing it that way. But, purely on a devil's advocate standpoint, there is that's the downside to having denied it. That's all I'm saying. I don't think they should have taken it either. Let me be clear, Danny.
But guess what? Because Carmen got Washington back because he lost to Stanford 31-26 on Saturday.
Facts of the case, partner. I like what you said there.
Speaking of things that are facts, listen, Florida is now there. Kyle Trask is basically kind of, I think, in the Heisman race at this point. This race should be Kyle Trask and nobody else's. I don't want to hear about any other quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, or any other player in the entire country. This Heisman Award has been Trask because guess what? He's destroyed every single defense he's played all season long. Right. Florida only had the one loss against A&M, who is a top 5 team. Go ahead and give Kyle Trask the Heisman. All right, speaking of A&M, listen, A&M is losing every single chance to move up in the rankings because COVID is taking a hit of their games. Not only are they lost the game Saturday, they beat Auburn, but they lost the Ole Miss game. It's been postponed due to COVID. They can't be rescheduled. Mm-hmm. A&M is losing every chance possible to try to move up in the rankings and potentially force the hand of Alabama in the conference. It is what it is. All right. Kyle, other wild wacky things in the conference, Oklahoma State, see you later. Bye-bye.
They were the factor anyway.
Hey, listen, they're not going to factor no more because TCU put them out of their misery 29-22. Louisiana Monroe defeated Appalachian State. The North Carolina Tar Heels beat on Western Carolina.
Okay.
And yes, Bobby, go ahead and play it now. Get it out the way. Let's get it over with. Go ahead and do it.
I thought he was supposed to do that for Chase Claypool. Oh, wait. I guess we don't have as much.
Hold on. All right, we got to get out the way because the ACC did the same thing to everything else. They cut the rest of the season short. Clemson and Notre Dame have basically said, you know what? We're not letting COVID or any foolishness break up this championship game in Charlotte. Clemson and with Clemson handling business last week and Notre Dame taking care of Syracuse have basically ended the ACC season. They'll be meeting in Charlotte for the ACC championship game. Kyle, listen, if Notre Dame wanted any chance to prove that this was worth it, not only beating Clemson without Trevor Lawrence is one thing, but beating Clemson in basically a home game for Clemson. Right. Charlotte is going to be packed full of Clemson Tiger fans. It wouldn't shock me if Rodney wins. Rodney's a Clemson alum. They will pack that stadium full of orange. Whatever crowd they're going to have there, it's going to be a majority.
Absolutely,
it's going to be a majority orange crowd in Charlotte. If anything Notre Dame can do in this game to prove themselves this year, and I'll be honest with you, if Notre Dame goes in and beats Clemson in Charlotte, they deserve the top seed for the BCS. It's very simple.
Let me ask you this, though, Danny Thompson, and this is something I'm still kind of wrestling with. Should Notre Dame come in, and if it's a close game, beat Trevor Lawrence and essentially achieve a second Clemson win, which I don't think that'll happen, but I'm not going to rule it out, right?
Okay.
Does that eliminate Clemson, in your mind, from top 4 contention?
Now, are we talking about the second game being extremely close, or Notre Dame hands them one? Is the question.
I said close. No, if they
like
get
are we talking close like the first game, Kyle?
Yeah,
when it came down to okay. If it's another overtime game, I think Clemson stays at 4.
Okay.
Because here's the reason why I say Clemson stays at 4.
Okay.
All right. Clemson's only one true loss of the year was to Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence. Okay. Now they got Notre Dame a second time with a post-COVID Trevor Lawrence. All right. I understand what Florida has done. Unless Florida whoops Alabama in the championship game, that's the only way I can see Florida getting in over a 2-loss Clemson team. Correct. In this situation. I think if Florida wins and Clemson loses, I think Florida gets in. You put Notre Dame at 1, you put Florida at 2, Alabama slides to 3. And I'll be honest with you, I would rather see A&M or a 2-loss Clemson team over Ohio State.
Well, I agree with that entirely. I think the part that's getting neglected, and whether it's Cincinnati or Coastal Carolina, and this is coming from somebody that was covering UCF in 2017 and 2018. So, don't go homer on me on this here. But I have a real problem with, first of all, a repeat offender losing to the same team twice, getting into the bracket for a chance to play them a third time. That is trash. I'm with you on Ohio State. The conference is a mere shadow of itself, and it's due to COVID. Listen, if nothing else, for safety's sake, I want them nowhere near the playoff because I don't want to risk the damn thing being played at full strength. So with those two teams eliminated, what's left is, and assuming Texas A&M continues to be, which I'm sorry, I'm not impressed by them, but I think everybody needs to watch more of them, but we don't get it to your point because they can't get on the damn field because of COVID. At some point, the justification for a undefeated
Cincinnati
American Athletic Conference champion Cincinnati team that would have gone in and beaten at least 2 or 3 teams that were top 10, or excuse me, top 25 ranked at some point in the season.
They're going to have to beat Tulsa. They're going to have to beat the brakes off Tulsa in that conference championship game.
Well, that's the thing. They'll be playing Tulsa twice. They have a December 4th matchup, or not December 4th. I'm sorry. I forget. No, I think they moved it back again. Damn it. But the punchline is they had a game scheduled with Tulsa, and then Tulsa's also locked to play the championship. So it's a quirky situation to say the least, but
they play Saturday, Kyle. They play Saturday.
Is it Saturday? Okay, yeah. So they did move.
They play Saturday.
So okay. So long story short,
you're going to have to destroy. You're going to have to beat Tulsa not once, but beat them badly twice. Here's the thing: the only way I see the American Conference getting Cincinnati into the Final Four, it have to be like this. Notre Dame would have to blow out. Notre Dame would have to at least beat Clemson by 10 points. Okay, because that would justify the Trevor Lawrence gate. Okay, you have to justify it.
Okay.
All right. A&M is going to have to miss the SEC championship game.
Which,
point blank and simple.
At the rate we're going, could happen. Granted, due to COVID. Not that I'm saying I'm cheering for it, but as
and Alabama would have to sock Florida something terrible,
right,
in the SEC championship game, because that gives Clemson and Florida 2 losses. Okay, Florida had lost to A&M, and then now the question is: do you have an undefeated Cincinnati team or an A&M team that might not have even played in a month due to COVID? A&M's only signature win was Florida.
Right.
That only signature win they had, because in Tulsa and Cincinnati would potentially have had 4 teams they beat in the top 25 this year.
Yeah.
So, like you said, in a non-COVID year where you have a conference champion and a team that did not play in the conference championship, wasn't even in the top 2 in the conference. I think that's the only way Cincinnati gets in is if Alabama socks Florida in the SEC championship game. I mean, goes full-fledged Nick Saban, like what they normally do to SEC teams. I'm talking at least 2 touchdowns, and I'm talking about a very impressive 2-touchdown win. And Notre Dame would have to sock Clemson in Charlotte. If Notre Dame goes in and punches Clemson in the mouth in Charlotte, I don't mean winning by a field goal. We're talking double digits. You beat Trevor Lawrence on double digits in Charlotte. Number one, that puts Alabama and Clemson at 1 and 2. All right. Then the argument goes from there. It's what, a 10-0 Cincinnati team. Okay. A 6-0 Ohio State team. And then you got a whole bunch of 2-loss teams with Florida and Clemson, and then you have A&M. I think Cincinnati deserves one of those 2 spots. Whether you give it to Ohio State or you give it to A&M based on what they played, you give Cincinnati the 4th spot. You put Cincinnati against Alabama. You send Cincinnati to Alabama. That's what you do.
Okay, and I'm good with that. Like, listen, if people want to treat that like it's essentially a bye, good. The top seed should get one. Am I right?
I mean, but that's the only way Cincinnati gets in. I think that's the only logical way Cincinnati gets in, unless.
Well, don't say logical, because none of this issue is logical with Ohio State even in the damn conversation.
Well, listen. Now, here's the crazy part about it. Unless Jim Harbaugh saves his job on Saturday and Ohio State beats.
You need to stop that trash. You need to stop that right now. Obviously, if that happens, it takes Ohio State out of the race, and we're back to talking about Florida or A&M. I get it.
Listen, Kyle, I'm going to say this. Kyle is. Listen, if this is 2020, Kyle, listen, we just got a movie where Mario Lopez played Colonel Sanders in 2020. The most 2020 thing to end this year is Jim Harbaugh essentially wanting out the door and beating Ohio State as he leaves Michigan.
Oh, no. Hey, listen, first of all, for some of us, that's good news because A, making fun of Michigan making bad mistakes is something I'm into doing. And B, I want to see Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL. That's where he belongs in the whole time. But
Cortland. Go ahead, Kyle.
yeah, that's where I'm at. And I was about to cite Cortland too. Listen, I don't either. But this is what the committee is doing, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember, you have active and former ADs in the CFP. Okay, and they happen to be a member of the Big Ten Conference in some cases, and the SEC also. Very interesting how that happened. I don't know.
It's like watching Scooby-Doo. It's like watching Scooby-Doo wait for them to pull off the mask and find out who it is. It's the Big Ten.
Yeah, but the problem is there's multiple dudes wearing friggin' masks, okay? It's like they took all of the Harlem Globetrotters and made them villains instead of guests, okay? But
listen, I blame Bruce Buckeye for all his foolishness.
fair.
All right.
But the last thing I want to say is this. There's two things that this also brings up in the scenario. A, conference championship games are going to become games where you're trying for style points too, and you're risking injury in that situation as well. In other words, if I'm Nick Saban, if I'm
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Brian. You say Charlie Hartwise?
No,
it's Brian.
wrong coach. Brian Kelly. Sorry.
Brian Kelly. Yeah, that's how much Notre Dame has relevance.
Here you go. If I'm Brian Kelly, if I'm Nick Saban, I am playing to blow people the hell out. Anything I can do to try to get the biggest rival in my face out of the damn way, that's what I'm trying to do. Second, we're now, if Florida loses in the conference championship and A&M gets in, what you've now done is punish a team for making it to the conference championship like they're supposed to. That, too, in my opinion, is unacceptable.
At the same time, especially if Cincinnati wins with style points. Now, if Cincinnati doesn't win with style, Kyle, Cincinnati has to win with style points against Tulsa twice. You're going to have to beat them down twice. No close game is going to help. Unless the close game is Saturday.
And then they beat the brakes off and win it counts. I'll agree with that. I don't think that's how it should be. But
Kyle, you know what though about the Kyle, the committee will say, well, you have back-to-back weeks to play them. There's going to be some kind of excuse. When you don't have excuses, Cincinnati doing what they've done to every team this year, and that's literally beat the pants off of them, with the exception of UCF.
First of all, you and I both know they'll invent an excuse. That ain't the problem. But
the thing is though, at that point, if Cincinnati blows out Tulsa in consecutive weeks, and the schedule they've had, they've pretty much mauled everybody but the UCF game. That argument becomes null and void because A&M may play in the month. Florida got pounded, and Clemson potentially could have lost the second game. And Ohio State, their best opponent was Indiana.
That a beast though. But
you know what though, Kyle. Here's a question before we transition: if Ohio State struggles to beat Michigan on Saturday, does that hurt them?
Of course it hurts them, but I don't think it's as catastrophic as you're saying. But the last plea I would make, the conference playoff committee, the college football playoff committee has an opportunity here to do something. If they're so sure that the American and the G5 is so unworthy, let them in, let them get pounded, and then any credibility that's had their Alphen is gone. Listen, all these conspiracy theories about changing the playoff and doing it NFL style. No offense, Cortland. I would kind of rather see a 6 or an 18 playoff scheme as well. But the contract has it in there until like 2025 or something stupid. It's not okay. That being said, I think the best play if you're the college football playoff committee, let the field decide for you. Then you want to talk about there being no excuses, Danny. They lost on the field. Okay, the little guy is then crushed and Goliath officially wins. All I'm saying.
Speaking of Goliath winning and the little man winning, Kyle, let's go to the NFL because today I didn't expect to lead with this in the NFL today, but the little man, the NFL, handled business. Well, there will be no Mike Tomlin in this show pumping no fists because the Washington football team has now made this a race in the NFC East by defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. Kyle, we just watched the Washington football team go to Pittsburgh and win a game on a Tuesday afternoon, a Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
Kyle, listen. Exactly. 23-17.
say what you will about there being an easy team on the field on Wednesday in the form of the Baltimore Ravens. I get it. But short prep time like that, listen, that's real. And for those of you armchair quarterbacks who are like, oh, they're millionaires, listen, bodies are human and they take damage. And to try to recover from a football game like that in that short of time is a rough go. Give props to the Washington football team, the Red Tails, for taking care of business. Period.
Well, Kyle, they really haven't. I mean, they played Wednesday, and then Kyle, at the same time with Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's 4 days. It's really the same as a team playing on a Sunday and having a Thursday game.
That's an adorable theory. That does not flow for me.
Same number of days.
No. Come on, Danny.
It is.
Come on, Danny.
A Sunday game playing on Thursday, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Kyle. You have 3 days to prepare for that, and you had 4 days to prepare for this one.
Come on, Danny.
Tell me I'm wrong. They had more. Mike, welcome back, my friend. Our good buddy Mike DeSantis is back in the house. We missed you, buddy. I'm glad to see you back here. Listen, I'm going to tell you who Pittsburgh didn't want to see was Alex Smith. In the comeback stories of everything, we talked about just comebacks in general. Alex Smith, once again, listen, you can call him a game manager. You can call him what you want to. Alex Smith just wins. It's just weird, Kyle. He just has a magnitude for getting bad football teams to win.
Other than the first 6 years he spent with the 49ers before Jim Harbaugh came in and made him good.
But Kyle, he's just maybe Jim Harbaugh cut the winning switch on him. I don't know. 31 of 46, 296 yards, and a touchdown pass to a former quarterback, Logan Thomas from Virginia Tech, who is now a tight end.
Right. I'll give you and listen, I make that joke. There was also a factor where there were 6 different offensive coordinating changes over those 6 years. So yeah, that's definitely a factor too. But we got to get back into the state where a game manager is not an insult, people. There's nothing.
It's not. It's not a game, man. The thing is, it's not a game manager when you're winning. It's just a fact that your quarterback just knows how to win. I mean, in that fourth quarter, Alex Smith was making throws, Kyle. He was making winning throws in the fourth quarter. Okay. Mm-hmm. Alex Smith coming off the injury, he was making the throws he was making before he got hurt in Washington the first time. He was making those throws. I don't know. Washington seems like they have a completely different energy with Alex Smith on the field. In a game where neither team can run the football worth a damn anyway. Mm-hmm. Peyton Barber led Washington with 23 yards, and Anthony McFarland had 15. You can tell Pittsburgh missed James Conner in this game.
Right. Well, and you make that point, too. Can we please give the Washington Red Tails some props here defensively as well? Like, the fact that they were able to do what they do to stop Conner, the fact that they forced Ben to throw the ball 53 times and got a turnover out of him. That's the difference in the game. The saying goes, right, Danny, that if you can hold the other team under 20 points, you should win the football game. They did their half of the bargain.
Yeah, Kyle, because you know what? You mentioned how much defense wins. So, we talk about how Washington, actually both teams, Pittsburgh's been known for their defense all year anyway. Mm-hmm. So holding Washington at 23 yards, holding Peyton Barber at 23 yards is nothing. But for Washington to hold the defensive side running the football in the great defensive effort of Ron Rivera and his team to get that victory in a must-win game, you got to give him credit.
Absolutely. Now,
you go from one great defensive aspect to the New York Jets.
You're mean.
The lovely segue and runway into what they call the New York Jets and their abomination of the season. I've always made jokes on this show, Kyle, about the Atlanta Falcons have always found dumb ways to lose. I think the New York Jets might have surpassed them on the dumb scale.
That's a hell of a statement from a Falcons fan. Like, understand, Jets fans, you just got dissed hard.
Listen, Kyle, since I want to say it was 2000, I want to say 2012, 2013, Kyle. I think when they started creating this, I can't remember how long ago it was. Kyle, there have been 251 situations where a team has had a four-point lead or more with 35 or 40 yards away from the end zone and less than 10 seconds. Kyle, no damn team in the history of that league in 251 plays calls an all-out blitz. Greg Williams, who is now looking for employment right now, and I did hear that Harris Teeter and Publix are hiring right now. decided to call an all-out blitz and split 7 guys, Kyle, on against the Oakland Raiders, a team that was 40 yards away from the end zone with no timeouts, with a 4-point lead. Kyle, this arguably led to one of the dumbest play calls in the history of the NBA. NBA. This how I'm calling it the NBA now, the NFL.
I mean, it's one of the worst ones in both leagues, bro. Let's just call it what it is. And listen, moreover, like, I mean, we can hate on Gase all you want. I'm not trying to say he's a good coach. Cortland's perfectly right to criticize him. But there's a reason why Greg Williams was asked to leave the building first, and that was it. I mean, your Falcons beat the Raiders. They said, hey, listen, at the end of the day, if you play some defense and you can stop, if you can make them one-dimensional, they can't do anything about it. And they can't stop you from scoring either.
Well, Kyle, the one thing about that situation is this. All right, so the one thing I have with this, Kyle, and the one thing to me, here's why Greg Williams got fired.
Okay.
Not only did you call it all-out blitz on third down, wherever down it was, and you decide to put a practice squad corner 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage and had him to go on a fly route with arguably the fastest player in the draft, and Henry Ruggs, a 4.26 at the 40-yard combine, to get hit with a double move with nothing over the top for safety coverage. Arguably, that's a dumb play call anyway.
Right.
But number two, here's why Greg Williams is unemployed right now. When you have Mike Tirico on national television, who's basically on a network that employs the NFL and that covers the NFL on a regular basis, in partnership, along with not only people from ESPN or Fox or sports radio, you had people who are on the NFL network who are employed by the league, arguably saying this was an intentional tank job. This play was an intentionally called play. That's why Greg Williams is under fire. Kyle, I'll be honest with you. This was the most blatant attempt to tank to lose a game I've ever seen. Kyle, who the hell calls an all-out blitz on third down with 7 seconds left in the game, and the other team doesn't have a timeout, have to damn near travel 50 yards down the field? Who the hell does that?
And that's a great question. I have an answer for you. The only reason I don't think it's a tank is we would have seen more movement and chatter within the player locker room. Now, it's still early, okay?
Kyle, he got canned not even 12 hours after the play.
No. I understand that. You're not hearing me right. If there was something for tanking, because those players are out there fighting for their meal tickets and trying to get film for next year to get the hell out of New York or to be on the roster should Trevor Lawrence decide to not forego arriving in East Rutherford. But for me, if it was a true tank job like that, you would hear more chatter from the players.
I mean, we didn't the safety call out Greg Williams for even calling this play? Like, the coaches have to do a better job in protecting the players in the situation, aka that was a dumbass play call.
Calling out a coach for competence is one thing. The franchise signing off on tanking is completely another.
Yeah, but Kyle, no team in professional sports is going to say, "Hey, we're going to lose on purpose."
No team does it. But you remember when the Dolphins were moving the chips and things were going around, Minkah Fitzpatrick departed. You had a number of guys that were sent away in return for draft picks. We knew Minkah wasn't happy during that season in 2019. So we're not here. I mean, the only other piece that could be argued where that was the case was Jamal Adams, but that was long before a garbage defensive play called by Greg Williams, right? So I'm not saying
but Kyle, here's the thing. In any part of that stretch last year when you were tanking for Tua, swimming for Tua, fishing for Tua, whatever you want to call it in Miami.
Tanking for Tua. Yes.
Kyle, did you ever feel at any point in time that the team was not trying to be competitive or they had a chance and let the game go?
No, I didn't. Here's the thing, and Cortland demonstrates it. I hate to call him out, but in one thing, you're like, oh, Gase is so awful. And next you act like he's playing 3D chess tanking. No, dude. A coach that's trying to save his GD job doesn't tank. Unless he's gotten assurances that he's keeping employment next year, what incentive does Adam Gase have to take?
Listen,
it's just ridiculous.
listen. I think Adam Gase knows. I think Adam Gase knows he's fired anyway. His job is to coach this team long enough until they secure the number 1 overall pick, and they're clipping his key card right now.
Okay,
They're worried that a new
next job. Dan, that doesn't hold up, bud.
Well, here's the thing. I think Adam Gase will get a job as an offensive coordinator. I don't think he'll never see a head coaching job again. This is twice.
But if he's out here looking this bad as the coach of a team that has, allegedly a good quarterback in Sam Darnold, we really don't know because he's on his back all the time.
Kyle, how many bad head coaches have turned back into coordinators over time?
That's not the question here. You're not paying attention. I know the goal is for him to be a coordinator. What I'm telling you is he still has no incentive to throw the damn game. Okay, he's still got to dispel rumors of him being incompetent, not only from his Jets time, but from his time in Miami as well. He's got a lot for it, and he can do it on the field.
Well, Kyle, here's the thing. It's like this. The Jets have said we're going to make sure we don't fire you so we can pay you. So Adam Gase is looking at his game checks thinking, let me go ahead and get paid the rest of the year. Let me do what I need to do. Let us keep losing. And let's make dumb play decisions. Let's make sure Sam Darnold doesn't get protected. Let us keep sending Frank Gore out there to keep running the football at 763 years old. Let's also find ways to get rid of all our players so that way whoever they bring in is going to basically be basically a brand new job. Adam Gase probably would have been fired 9 weeks ago if the Jets really cared about this season. They didn't. They're just playing bad enough to secure the number 1 overall pick to make sure Trevor Lawrence, if he decides to go to school, decides to come to the NFL, will be heading in the right set of green that's not in Jacksonville. The second the Jets clinch the number 1 draft pick, I don't see Adam Gase keeping the job much longer.
I'll put it this way. And again, no one's saying that Gase was a bad OC. You're changing the conversation at this point. Pay attention to what I'm telling you, gentlemen.
No.
But the punchline is this: all that gymnastics and stuff. If that's the case, if they really went up and locked him down and did all this next level thinking and 4D chess, okay, do you really think the Jets organization is that smart at this point? You literally can't have it both ways. They're either the dumbest damn thing and historically bad, or they're geniuses. There's no middle ground here, and they've shown me nothing to get me to believe genius.
You know what, though? But here's the thing. I'll go to the NBA this one, Kyle.
Okay.
When you look at what happened in Philadelphia with the process, right?
Mm-hmm. How's that
people looked at the process and what they did in Philadelphia, and they thought they're the dumbest franchise in history by basically getting all these top picks and moving and everything else and maneuvering. There was all a part of one plan. The process failed when they fired the GM right before the process should have ended. The process was almost at the very end. Markelle Fultz was supposed to be the final part of the process. Then they brought in the Colangelos and basically torpedoed everything that was built beforehand.
Well,
So Kyle, what I'm saying is the Jets might be playing chess here with everybody else. Here's the thing. Now they're going to try to own the number 1 overall pick and basically play Trevor Lawrence's hand and say, so you're going to forgo all this guaranteed quarterback money. And basically you're going to pull a Matt Leinart, basically. You potentially could pull a Matt Leinart. Remember, Kyle, Matt Leinart was the best quarterback in college football as a junior, but did not want to come out and decide to go back to school for more a year. Would have been the number 1 overall pick.
I'm with you.
And he slid to number 7 or number 8, I think it was Arizona that year. And you know how much money it cost him? It cost him over $35 million in money that he could by going back to school. All right. Trevor Lawrence knows good and well he has nothing left to prove in college football. If you really think at this point in your financial physical life that you think you can pass up on guaranteed money because you don't want to go to New York, knowing that New York has all the endorsements and all the money you need from that entire city, obviously, if the Jets could assure the Trevor Lawrence camp that they'll go out and fire Adam Gase, they'll do it. Otherwise, Justin Fields is going number 1. It's very simple.
You're not
trade
Go ahead.
They'll trade Sam Darnold somewhere else, kind of like what I'm going to talk about the Eagles in a second. They'll ship him off. The Eagles going to try to ship off Carson Wentz, which is damn near impossible. And they're going to start over. The Jets. At one point, Kyle, the Jets front office actually was pretty smart I'd say almost 10, 15 years ago when they were building the team around Rex Ryan. They had the very, very good defense, Bart Scott and the entire crew, and they were great defense. Sanchez just wasn't the guy to get him over the hump.
Right.
Okay.
They were trying to rely on an aged LaDainian Tomlinson to carry it as well as Thomas Jones too, but I digress.
Yes. They had the perfect defense with just they were one Joe Flacco quarterback Baltimore away from winning a Super Bowl.
Fair.
Joe Flacco Baltimore. Now Joe Flacco is in New York, the Baltimore Joe Flacco. That was upright.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
If they even had Alex Smith,
absolutely,
they would have won a Super Bowl.
7th year 49er Alex Smith, yes.
Mm-hmm. Even Alex Smith now would have won a Super Bowl with that team because he's competent. He makes enough plays.
Assuming he can stay upright, right?
Yeah. So that's how good the Jets were a couple years ago with the same ownership group. Now, mind you, they have made some ill-advised decisions, and guess what? They have to pay for what they've done. I think a whole clearing out's happening. I think everybody's going to be gone. I don't think nobody on the staff is out there. Listen, money in professional sports does solve things. Money gets the things that you want. The New York market gets the things that you want. Listen, the Giants might have the bigger name, but the Giants aren't winning Super Bowls either. They haven't won in over 10 years anyway. All right. The football love of the city is now it's like kind of the same thing with the Nets and the Knicks. Everybody knows the Knicks, but the sexy thing is going to Brooklyn right now. The Knicks haven't been good in years. Where the Giants been really superly competitive. All the Giants have is Saquon Barkley. That's it. They might have first place in the division, but all they have is Saquon Barkley. You can take the headlines. It's not hard.
Sure. So, first of all, there's a lot to unpack there. So I'll start with this. No one said anything about Trevor Lawrence going back to college. You did.
He's talked about. I mean, there's talk of him going back to school. The Jets are picking first. He wants no part of that front office.
Here's what's going to actually
money talks. Money talks.
Here's what's going to actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to pull a John Elway. He's going to pull an Eli Manning, and he may damn sure go to Reggie Bush caliber and just outright say, "Fools don't do it." Okay. Now, I don't think he'll do that. That coming from a quarterback would be a bad look. But I do think you see a John Elway scenario, an Eli Manning scenario. Now, Justin Herbert. Justin Fields is either going to get picked up by them instead, or they're going to get a metric buttload of picks to build Sam Darnold. I can see either going that way. If Trevor Lawrence, if the best quarterback prospect allegedly since Andrew Luck is refusing to go to your team,
I'm taking the King's ransom.
Okay, so you want to actually put some beef in front of Sam Darnold and see what they can do.
Or I'm taking somebody's first round pick in the top 4 or 5, making sure I get assured that I'm getting Justin Fields. I'm still going to take all your draft picks and also root what's on your roster. But if I feel like Justin Fields is my guy, yeah, I'll take Trevor Lawrence and I'll hold him hostage. Like you said, John Elway him. You don't touch him. You want to play the NFL, we hold your rights. And we'll find out who's going to make the King ransom, Jacksonville.
Or don't rule out a certain franchise that stockpiles picks like they're gold. And I don't mean the Miami Dolphins. I mean a coach that mentored Brian Flores.
And who is that, Kyle?
Well, that would be the Patriots using all their draft picks.
There's no way that the Jets draft Trevor Lawrence and send him in the division. They'll let him ride college first.
I agree.
They'll let Trevor Lawrence play golf before that happens. Kyle, all right, let's whip around the NFL. Let's do the whip around. Like I said, Monday night game going on. Buffalo 17. The Arizona 49ers 10. Third quarter over in Glendale.
This is basically Arizona 49ers.
They don't have a homer. They're in Arizona. Aren't they in Arizona playing in Glendale?
No, I'm not saying, I'm not correcting you. I'm admiring your improvisation on the situation, sir.
Listen, because the Bills have to exercise the demons of being done in by Kyler Murray in the same stadium a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So 17-10 third quarter. We talk about the whatchamacallit is taking care of the Pittsburgh Steelers into their undefeated season. Kyle, let's talk about another team as a contender before we hop out of here.
I had about enough of this Titans fan trying to tell me about football when all I hear is about,
you know what?
Even the Titans. Okay.
Well, listen. Speaking of the Titans, we're gonna remember the Titan on this one. And the Titan's name is Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
I have given Baker Mayfield a lot of crap on this show, but that first half on yesterday afternoon was just magnifique. Baker Mayfield looked like Oklahoma Baker Mayfield. He walked into the Nissan Stadium like Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania and started stunning everybody that was on the Tennessee Titans defense. He literally was throwing to offensive linemen, throwing to Jarvis Landry, even hit a Michigan wide receiver. And when do you hear about those things? In the first half where he threw 4 touchdown passes, Kyle. Now, mind you, the Browns almost blew this thing out of the Dallas game. They held on to win 41-35. But Kyle, listen, the Browns are 9-3. I've given them a lot of crap this year. No, they're not in the same league as Kansas City. And no, I'm going to tell you this right now, it's not even close. I don't think they're in Pittsburgh's league either.
No.
But man, they are pretty darn entertaining. And it's the first winning season since I think L.A. Broadus was in grade school. But all I'm saying is,
you're awful.
Listen, we gotta give the Cleveland Browns some respect in this one. I'm gonna put some respect in their name.
So I'll say this: they get a little bit of props, and in fairness, the schedule is a factor. Let's walk through a little bit, shall we? A hapless Bengals team who they almost lost to Joe Burrow single-handedly.
But everybody plays the Bengals, Kyle. Come on.
No. I'm just again. I want to put if I'm going to put perspective on a Patriots team that is perennially good playing in the garbage AFC East, I have to be fair with the Browns here. They're playing the AFC South, if I remember correctly. You know, and the Ravens being shattered by COVID is going to be a factor for them as well. But that being said, you're going to try to tell me that Freddie Kitchens, the former coach, would not have blown that opportunity? Certainly not. Give Stefanski credit. He's given Baker Mayfield a load he can handle. And listen, when you play against a team who's the only thing truly Titan about them is how pedestrian, the level of pedestrian their pass rush is, you're going to see Baker Mayfield shine.
Listen, Baker Mayfield treated the Tennessee Titans defense like a Big 12, like Texas Tech and the Big 12 defenses, okay?
And what do you expect of Big 12 defenses, my good friend?
Listen, I expect the same effort the Titans did. Listen, Kyle, it was 35-7 at halftime. The Titans made the game interesting. The Titans got this game close. All right, kind of got hairy at one point, but the Browns dominated for 2.5 quarters. It was 41-21. Titans got 2 late touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Listen, Baker Mayfield did an outstanding. Has been brilliant the last few weeks. I'm not saying he's a top tier quarterback, but like you said, when you're running the ball. And you guess what? Teams are scared when you run the football because guess what? You have a 2-headed monster that can run the football, and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. In a situation where, listen, they only had 118 yards rushing, but Kyle, what have we talked about? Balance. We have preached balance on this show from the Browns. If they are balanced or they're balancedly correct, guess what? They win. 36 rushes, 33 passes. That's how you win with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, no question. And listen, I don't want to just completely dump on the Titans. I'm going to give credit to, listen, they came back the way they did because Mike Vrabel is a good coach. You know, I know it's been trendy to bash on Belichick disciples, but as people do that, they forget that there's 2 of them currently coaching teams that are all but guaranteed playoff appearances here in the NFL in 2020. So, hey, you know, somebody give this dude some credit, eh?
Exactly. So I give the Cleveland Browns a lot of credit because when you spoke of Bill Belichick and company went in and whooped the LA Super, I guess the battery ran out of them, Chargers, 45-0 at home. Kyle, in a game where Kyle, I'm not understanding this New England Patriot offense. I'm gonna take 30 seconds to talk about this.
Mhm.
The Patriots scored 45 points, and Cam Newton had 69 yards of passing.
Okay.
Kyle, the Patriots scored 45 points, and Cam Newton had 69 yards of passing.
First of all, second, how do you think that happened, partner? Like, I can explain it to you if you really feel like you need me to. But
I mean,
do you want to take a shot at it? Because I can tell you.
Kyle, take 30 seconds to take the ball, sir.
Okay, first of all, it's very simple. You find me a rookie quarterback that has done well against Bill Belichick. It's not really much of a thing. Unfortunately, due to a medical freak of nature to poor Tyrod Taylor, we have Justin Herbert as a rookie quarterback. So there's that. Moreover, give respect. This isn't me knocking Justin Herbert. This is Bill Belichick being smart enough to respect this guy. By the way, if I said the name Gunnar Olszewski to you, do you even know who that is? I was
Is he
today.
a wrestler?
Nice. I was today years old when I knew that was the leading receiver in this football game. Okay,
And he caught a touchdown pass from Jarrett Stidham, by the way.
For 38 yards. Yeah, exactly. Got Stidham in the game. What do you want me to tell you? But the punchline is this, my friend. The Patriots defense, even with all those missing COVID players, opt-outs, I should say, they're a good defensive football team. And as soon as they have somebody other than Gunnar Olszewski and Jameer Byrd, guys you haven't heard of within the past 2 weeks about their careers upcoming, this is going to be a dangerous 2021 team. And remember, I picked them making the playoffs at 8-8. Now, I still don't think that's going to happen. Or at this point, I should say, I don't think that's going to happen. But that's how it happens.
And Gunnar Olszewski also had a punt return for a touchdown.
That's a big day for a young man.
Exactly. Speaking of teams that are having a big day, I tell you who also had a big day, Kyle. Listen, when you look around the league, we talked about the Jets. We talked about big days. Listen, Philip Rivers had another huge day for the Indianapolis Colts. Another big day for Philip Rivers, 27-35, an accurate day, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the return, and he's actually living, of T.Y. Hilton. Finally gets back in the game, 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. The Colts and their defense beat the Houston Texans 26-20 at home. Listen, Kyle, the Colts are 8-4. They're right there in the thick of that division race.
And something else that you're expecting to have heard a lot more this year that you haven't yet is young Jonathan Taylor out of Wisconsin, proficiently running the football, averaging 7 yards a carry. That's not something you see yet. The
only sad part was the Texans had a chance to win the game, and Deshaun Watson, a bad snap, the ball was fumbled, picked up by the Colts in the red zone, Kyle, the 2-yard line. Jeez. Yeah. If the Texans don't go Texans in this game, the Texans would have put themselves at 5-7. Speaking of teams going nuts going weird at the end of the games, the Detroit Lions, who were lioning, defeated the Chicago Bears 34-30. And Kyle, at one point, the Bears were one of the best teams in the NFC.
No, they weren't.
In the standings, at one point, they were.
Okay, I'm glad you corrected that. Remember the conversation we had about how numbers lie? Yeah, that was the beginning of the season. And we had certain people who were in the pin at the three-point conversion, not mentioning any names. I don't want to cause any controversy. But, the Bears are bad. And they're going to blame Matt Nagy for it. And this is bad.
Listen, but one thing is that the Lions change coaches and they win a game. Darrell Bevell, Arab head coach, wins the game. Matt Stafford throws for 400 yards. And the Lions look like an actual team.
There's a song that says the Lions sleep tonight, but apparently that night, the Bears were hibernating.
Speaking of teams that are going to hibernate, the Jacksonville Jaguars have hibernated their season away, losing in overtime 27-24 over to the Minnesota Vikings. In a game where, listen, the Titans, the Minnesota Vikings scored in the fourth quarter, Kyle, to make this game weird on a safety and a field goal in the fourth quarter.
Talent.
Talent. Look, Kurt family. Listen, the Vikings are back in the division race, Kyle. The Vikings are now second place in the NFC North at 6-6. Kirk Cousins, that we a guy we bash on the show on a regular basis, 28-43, 305, 3 touchdowns. Davin Cook killed my fantasy team because it didn't get in the end zone. Did run for 120 yards in the round though. Listen.
Did your boy Jefferson get a touchdown? That's my question.
No, but Jordan Jefferson did reach. Yes, he did. He caught a touchdown in the third quarter from Cousins. Also, he hit the 1,000 yard mark for the season as well too. So congratulations, Justin Jefferson.
So
I think he did it
like any good Jefferson in terms of the depth chart. At least he's moving on up.
Exactly. And you know what? And the one team that shakes their head and nodding at the situation was the Philadelphia Eagles, because the Eagles passed on Justin Jefferson, took Jalen Reagor. And speaking of another Jalen Hurts took over for Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz was bad.
We went to see Carson. I get you.
Listen, Eagles fans have been wanting this trade, and guess what? The final 2 series of the game, Justin Fields.
Jalen Hurts.
See? Jalen Hurts, thank you. Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown and also threw an interception in his 2 series in the game. The Eagles had a chance to win the game, threw an interception late, which led to a long run for touchdown for Aaron Jones. Packers 30-16 over the Eagles. Kyle, let's talk about Carson Wentz real quick.
Sure.
Is it up? Is the gigs up for him now? Because he's been pulled.
You know, it's funny. Weren't we just having this conversation a couple seasons ago about Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, right? But this one to me is a lot harder. If the Eagles truly believe that Carson Wentz is mentally shot, then they need to see what they have in Jalen Hurts, right? Sure, be looking for the next target, but maybe you go after Ian Book and see if you can sharpen him up. I don't know. I'm picking a name. I don't think he's a good pro prospect per se, but this is one where we need information that only the coaching staff would truly have, right?
Well, you mentioned the coaching staff and the information. This will be the coaching staff that won't be around next season. I think Doug Peterson's gone at this point. I think the front office is gone. And Kyle, here's the scary part about it. The Eagles can't get rid of Carson Wentz. It's $59 million in cap space, in holding cap space.
Mm-hmm.
In money if Carson Wentz is let go this season, and $29 million the following season.
Oh, it would have to be trade. No question.
You're gonna have to find somebody who's willing to rehabilitate Carson Wentz, a quarterback that's still, Kyle. If this will be the first season, Kyle, if he is benched the rest of the season, that Carson Wentz actually has ended the season healthy since his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
At that number, at that price tag, and that cap hold, I don't know very many teams that were willing to take that on at this point. That's a $50 million cap hold. That the Eagles ain't cutting them. The Eagles damn sure ain't cutting them. All right. The Packers now 9-3. Aaron Rodgers became the fastest quarterback to throw 400 touchdowns in his career as he threw 3 touchdown passes. And Devontae Adams and my main man DeAndre Hopkins are fighting to see who the best receiver in the NFL is. Adams 10 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Speaking of the Arizona, but that's a detail. Keep going.
Speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, it wasn't pretty for the Cardinals yesterday. Okay. Kyler Murray did throw three touchdown passes, but for some reason the Cardinals can't seem to get over the hump to make this a division race. Listen, I've talked about Sean McVay and his team and Jared Goff, but when it comes to games they have to win, they somehow win them. They're now 8-4, 38-28 over the Arizona Cardinals at home. Listen, Goff threw for 351. Darrell Henderson from Memphis, good old American college football player, 30-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter, and now they've moved into a tie with the Seattle Seahawks for first place in the division.
You ain't gonna mention Aaron Donald's name?
Listen, Aaron. What more can I say about the most dominant player in the NFL defensively? There's not much more I can say.
Might have been a factor in the ball game. Don't think.
I mean, listen. Aaron Donald's always a factor when he steps on the field, even if I don't have to mention him, because he's one of the two players in the NFL I'd say right now whose name I don't have to mention. You already know what he does. Aaron Donald finished the game yesterday. Since you want me to mention his name, Kyle, listen, he had 3 tackles, a sack, a tackle for loss, and knock down Kyler Murray and chase him around the field all day long.
I mean, and then paired with Jalen Ramsey, who you wanted to tell me was worth his contract. I'm saying.
And Jalen Ramsey's worth every bit of his contract.
Okay.
I mean, listen, the Rams have spent a lot of money in the defense.
I'm sick of Goff getting credit for this defense, man.
Well, listen, I mean, the thing is that when the offense scores 38 points in the game, you got to give the offense a little bit of love. We all know how good the defense is. All right, the defense. Listen, they held DeAndre Hopkins to 8 catches for only 52 yards on 13 targets. That's only 6 yards. No, only one receiver averaged over 8 yards a catch, and that was Dan Arnold because he had a 59-yard touchdown catch in the game on his 2 catches. All right, give credit to the Rams defense. They held Arizona to 92 yards rushing. Kenyon Drake only had 49. Kyler Murray only had 15. We talk enough about the Rams defense. The offense this week gets a little bit more of the love because Jared Goff, listen, 37-47, 351. Jared Goff catches a lot of crap. Like I said, I'll give credit where credit's due, and he deserved it tonight. He deserved it on Saturday.
Yeah. I'm just saying, next week when Devery Henderson's carrying the load on offense again, you'll know where I'm coming from. Moving on.
Listen, I'll give credit where credit's due. But one player who has basically torpedoed himself is one Russell Carrington Wilson's MVP coach candidacy has basically taken another hit. Kyle, do you want?
It did take.
Kyle, it took a severe hit yesterday. The New York Giants walk into your stadium with Colt McCoy as your starting quarterback, and you manage only 12 points.
Okay, you want to talk about snaps, and you want to keep telling me about how I'm a numbers guy. Okay, this is cool. There's a stat where Russell Wilson is on 8 straight seasons with 40-plus sacks taken. Okay? Can you name another quarterback in the Super Bowl era that's had that happen to him?
Kyle, what does that have to do with the season?
I'm really waiting for you to answer this question.
Okay. Kyle, I can't, off the top of the head, I can't think of one.
Not even David Carr took many hits. This many hits.
He lasted long. He didn't
last that long. You're right. But the point is,
they beat him the hell out of the league out of that. Come on.
You're not wrong. I knew that would be your response, and I say good on you for being predictable. No, I don't mean it like that. I mean good on you for pointing that out. That's what I meant. I didn't mean predictable. That's wrong. But what I will make fun of you on is your refusal to acknowledge how bad this defensive line is. Now, credit to the Giants defense. They're better. Okay? But you want to talk to me about, Rusty did this, he's Russell, interception, Wilson. Hey, you know what it is? Protecting a quarterback is a lot like protecting pregnancy, okay? What's the best way to stop it? Prevent penetration. And the offensive line of Seattle cannot do that. At the very least, you love my analogy. Take that, James Thompson.
Listen, here's the reason why Russell Wilson's numbers are inflated in both ways, whether it be the higher passer numbers or also the higher turnovers or just the inefficiency of situations. Last year, the Seattle Seahawks was third in the NFL rushing attempts last year. This year, they're 24th. They're relying way too much on Russell. No, listen, that's a huge difference.
Right. Rodney's comment is, again, very football ignorant, just like any Clemson fan would be. Continue.
Listen, it's a letdown because the MVP of the team, MVP of the league would have made the MVP would have made some plays in that game. Russell, I think, was sacked twice in that final series against the Giants.
To who?
Listen. Huh?
To who?
Listen.
Your boy Metcalf is locked down. He's so good.
We have 5 for 80. Here's the thing with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. They are good receivers, and so is Greg Olsen. The problem was the Seahawks did not really wake up on offense until the fourth quarter when Wilson got in the end zone for that one touchdown, which they also that Wilson hit Carson out of the backfield on that beautiful 28-yard touchdown pass. But it took them 3 quarters to get it together. All right. The Seahawks didn't do much throughout those series and going into the fourth quarter, Colin. They didn't do much. You know it, and I know it.
See, the Seahawks have plenty of games like that in their history, but we weren't talking about them back here. Why? Because the Seahawks in the past would win the game. Now, what's different? Their defense isn't as good as it was. And say what you will, Carlos Dunlap's a nice addition. Jamal Adams, when he's on the field, is a good thing too. But at the end of the day, when you're letting Daniel Jones run amok on you, You're going to blame Russell Wilson for that? I mean, listen, and I'll grant you, I'm
Listen.
not saying you're wrong that he takes the hit. If you want to pick your boy LeVon Mahomes, cool, but he's not the MVP compared to. You made a better argument with Aaron Charles Rodgers than you did with him.
How many turnovers Russell Wilson have on Sunday? How many turnovers do you have?
He had a fumble that was caused by a garbage-ass offensive line, and he's forced to make plays because his receivers are overhyped and his running dear life. You are using the wrong stat, and it's another lying number. How many times do I have to say this to you? He's historically under fire over any quarterback in the Super Bowl era. Your question of how many turnovers he have is not the problem, Danny. I am dunking on you week after week.
Kyle, answer you didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question.
I did, and I already told you that's not the problem. You don't
Kyle.
You ask the same stupid. It's stupid now because you've done it weeks in a row. And
Kyle,
I you with this constantly. At some point, you're going to get a bruise on your forehead from the ball constantly hitting you as I dunk on you again and again. I'm going to
Kyle, but my question was, he had 2 turnovers. Thank you. He had 2 turnovers.
I did, go home and watch your Clemson Tigers lose again, sir.
Kyle,
I beat you.
He had 2 turnovers, and out of the other 7 possessions, they 3 and out at 5 times.
Why did that happen, Danny Thompson? Why?
Okay, Kyle.
Aren't the answer. The film answers it. Watch some.
Kyle, let's go back. We want to go series by series. I can do so. In the second, now after the field goal to start the game.
Play-by-play to demonstrate protection, Danny Thompson. Okay, this ain't like the NBA where I tell you, hey, they missed a bunch of threes, and you explain to me why that happened. I go, oh, okay. No,
Kyle. Let's see.
For garbage.
A three and out, Kyle. That was caught. You're not. What was the question?
How does that account for protection? Say it doesn't, and let's move to the next game.
Kyle, let's look at this. I'm looking series by series here.
Okay.
Let's look how the Seahawks series ended. The second series of the game ended on a 3rd down when Russell Wilson got sacked. Okay.
So there's the offensive line again. Thank you. Moving on.
Okay. Mind you, Russell Wilson in their 3rd series was sacked, which caused an 8-yard loss. He got 12 of them back on 3rd down, which they had to punt. He also missed the pass to DK Metcalf, it was incomplete, over the middle.
He missed it. It wasn't him being thrown off handle. You're sure he didn't drop it? He missed it. Watch the film, Danny.
Kyle, 4 series of the game, he fumbled on 3rd and 1. He fumbled on 3rd and 1. Okay, he fumbled on 3rd and 1,
so he could get hit and fumble the ball. Okay.
Let's see. Now they got hit with a penalty on the series before halftime because of an eligible man downfield, which was declined because they threw a screen pass to Carlos Hyde, which lost 7 yards.
But that's Rusty's fault.
Okay. Wilson incompleted 2nd and 3rd down, which they forced him to punt.
Okay, so let's be clear. Let's assume everything you claim is Russell Wilson's fault is. It may not be. You don't know. But let's assume it is. What I have is a 5-yard penalty, a garbage screen attempt, possibly another offensive line fail, right? Or a play call fail. Also not Rusty's fault. And how many sacks? Do you see what I'm getting at? Let's assume
Kyle,
Rusty missed every
when the game.
half of them.
Kyle,
Rusty missing anything. You're just glazing right over that. And I don't want to hear about what's the game on the line. Hell, how much more is this guy supposed to do? You said the only points he scored was with magic in the 4th quarter to keep it a game. Where's everybody else?
Where the hell was he the first 3 quarters?
Do I have to explain it to you again about the protection problems?
Kyle, listen. When you're the most valuable, you're the most valuable player in the league. You get it done. Okay. To me, if we're voting MVP right now, Russell Wilson's now fallen to 3rd. He's behind Aaron Rodgers.
How many victories does he already have this year? That is a garbage question, Danny. You're ignoring the first 10 plus games of the season already. We're in what?
Kyle, how many fourth quarter comebacks did he have this season?
Do I have to look that up for you now?
Please, by all means, go research. Go research, because while you're researching, I'll talk about the MVP of the league, and that's one Patrick LeVon Mahomes II.
Oh, and all his weapons and running backs and good protection and solid defense. Yeah, you do you, Chief. I'll look this up.
No problem, because here's the thing. The Kansas City Chiefs might have played their worst game of the season, but Mahomes didn't make any mistakes last night. The Chiefs are now 11-1 as they defeated a Denver Broncos team at home, 22-16, which gave them a playoff spot. The Chiefs are now 11-1, and guess what? Patrick LeVon Mahomes did not turn the ball over again last night.
Must be nice to have good protection.
Hell, listen, if you have good protection, that means you still got to make the damn throws. And he makes them and makes a lot of them.
Right there. You're on this show. You're on record saying that Russell Wilson has the best long ball in the league, and now he can't complete a pass? Come on.
No. I did. When did I say he couldn't complete a pass? All I'm saying is, I didn't say that. All I'm saying is, I did not say that.
Okay.
Go. If this is Spaceballs, we'll rewind the camera. We'll rewind the tape once again. All I'm saying is this.
An intellectually honest argument. I'm done here. You've been dunked on enough on your show.
Kyle, what point did you make? All I'm saying is that Russell Wilson's fallen to third the same way that the Seahawks are meteorically falling in their own division.
Even though they're what, 8-4? Okay, cool.
Okay, they're now the first. They're now first place tie with the St. Louis Rams. The Los Angeles Rams at first place in the division now.
And that's
a division.
Okay.
Okay, but a division that the Seahawks were running a couple of weeks ago. This is just it is what it is. In the games the Seahawks have won, Russell Wilson have lost. Russell Wilson has done turnovers. Turnovers at quarterback will do you in.
Or you can say that despite all the things he doesn't have, he still has him fighting for first place in the division. What about that argument, Danny Thompson? Where you at for that trash?
Listen, I'm not saying you're making things like we're supposed to garbage quarterback. He's just now third in the MVP voting. Aaron Rodgers in front of him, so is Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. Aaron Charles Rodgers II.
You mean the guy that's competing with the Vikings for a playoff situation in the AFC North?
No, because the Packers are in first place, and they're in first place by a lot right now.
Is that because the division's bad, or is that because of Aaron Charles Rodgers?
Listen, Aaron Rodgers 26-2.
You could say both, by the way. That's fair. I'm not telling you wrong.
But listen, Aaron Rodgers has been freaking phenomenal all year. We're not going to take away that. We're not going to take Aaron Charles Rodgers' numbers away from what he's done this year.
Except for choice games where he's quit.
Listen, 36 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3,400 passing yards is. I think that's pretty darn good this year, sir.
Okay, and that's beating up on us. I mean, listen, if you want to take, having to play the Lions and the Bears twice over the best division in the NFL, you do you. I like watching good football. Listen,
the only bad game Aaron Rodgers had was the Tampa game. Everything else has been pretty damn dominant all season.
Okay. Don't disrespect.
outside of that Tampa game where they got physically manhandled by Tom Brady and company. What other game has Aaron Rodgers been bad all season?
How are you defining bad?
What performance this season has Aaron Rodgers had outside of Tampa where Aaron Rodgers was not outstanding?
Okay.
Name one game outside of Tampa. Name one game.
I have to fight your argument for you and do all this research. So I need.
I'm because you want to discount. You want to take away the argument of Aaron Rodgers being up there for being number 2 for MVP voting outside the Tampa game.
Hey, listen, I forgot that you were going to torpedo your credibility for the sake of us having good conversation on the show.
No, what credibility am I torpedoing here? My question is, you can't name one bad game Aaron Rodgers has had, because guess what? He's had a 100 quarterback rating in every other game this season other than Tampa this year. Take away the Tampa game.
Stop it.
Kyle, he's completed 60+% of his passes in every single game with the exception of Tampa. You take away the Tampa game. Okay, you want to talk about quarterback rating? Let's not talk about quarterback rating. Let's talk about QBR.
I'm not.
Okay, if you want to discount quarterback rating, let's talk QBR. He's been a 45 or higher in every single game this season other than Tampa. Kyle, in the games that's not listed against Tom Brady, 36 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Okay, what more do you want from this man?
Oh, this is the same one that lost to the Minnesota Vikings in Week 8, right? Okay, hold on. Let me.
But Kyle, but in that game against Minnesota, he was 27 to 41 for 291, 3 touchdowns. He didn't have a turnover in that game either.
Oh, okay. But you asked. Okay, no, this is interesting.
But he didn't turn the ball over though. He didn't turn the ball over in the game.
What does that?
Turnovers cost games. What are we talking about here?
When is he in position to turn the ball over? Like, when is he under pressure other than against the Bucs defense?
Listen, you said turning the ball over is part of the reason why you win games and you lose games. Am I right?
Who argued that? I didn't argue that.
I'm asking the question. Russell Wilson is arguably, quote unquote, the best game manager in football.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Without question.
Okay. If you're the guy that's running the game and you're managing the game like a point guard in the NBA, your job is not to turn the damn ball over. And Russell Wilson has turned the ball over a lot this year, uncharacteristically more than normal. Sure. It's become much more of a bigger scale because they're throwing the ball a lot more than they have thrown the ball in previous years.
And why is that?
Okay. Why is that?
Yeah.
Hell, you asked the play caller.
How many weeks has Chris Carson been out? Carlos Hyde had to come back last week for them to have a running game. Okay? And then we also have a garbage offensive line, which, by the way, has 4 of its starters listed as at least questionable, if not worse. But you're going to tell me that doesn't matter at all. Cool story.
Hell, we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles do the same damn thing every single week.
And you're tearing Carson Wentz apart too.
Well, no. Listen, Carson Wentz in Philadelphia is a way different situation than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has competence
because he has some good receivers who get open on occasion. Yeah, I get it.
Kyle, me and you, Kyle, we played Sunday for the Eagles. We had a tough time getting separation.
I'm agreeing with you on that. No
Speaking of situation with tough separation, this show's going along they're supposed to. The Miami Dolphins separated themselves from the Cincinnati Bengals 19-7. Tua Tagovailoa was out in this game, and I think Ryan Fitzpatrick did a solid job. We don't need too much more about it. The Dolphins are fighting themselves for the playoffs. Yeah, other games around the league.
We're dangerous for playoffs at this point. I'll just say it.
And Kyle, guess what? I think we've hit every single game in the NFL this week. We only got one more game tomorrow. Dallas and Baltimore. Okay. All right.
That reaction was worth all your bad football talk. I'm just saying.
Bob, what's going on, my friend?
I believe Tua played this week.
Did he? I didn't realize he was on the field.
Yeah, he's so boring. I understand he's the future, but if you want to, they have a chance of making some noise. I don't know. I'm not a Tua guy. That's just maybe
You know what, Kyle? I forgot, Kyle. Before we go to Mount Rushmore, Kyle, I forgot one game on the schedule because I didn't really want to talk about it. The Atlanta Falcons fell to the New Orleans Saints 21-16. The Falcons lost to Taysom Hill for the second time in 3 weeks. All right, we're done. All right. And the Saints have also clinched a playoff spot. In other news,
I have nothing.
Listen, the Falcons got swept by the Saints, and once again, the Falcons go Falcons. You know what? Damn it, it's time for a rant. Now I'm mad. All right. So, for those who didn't watch the Falcons game, I understand why. Atlanta had a chance to win the game on Sunday. It's very simple, Kyle. The Falcons got the ball inside the 5-yard line. All right. We're inside the red zone with a chance to go up. It was 21-16. Now, Kyle, we were in the red zone at home before in a game against the Detroit Lions. And now, mind you, these were the Lions at the time. Bobby, cue up the Lions.
Lion. Hold on, there it is.
Thank you. That was the Lions before that week. That's the week Todd Gurley also got in the end zone. All right. We call the Todd Gurley end zone game because obviously that cost the Falcons to lose the game. And I don't care what nobody says. He could have fell down. Damn you and everything else in between. All right. Guess who has the same record as the Panthers? Well, listen, the Panthers are in trouble Sunday because you got 8 guys out with COVID, including both your starting wide receivers and no Christian McCaffrey. I think y'all are playing Kansas City.
You vindictive, bro. You're not wrong, but damn.
All right, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are both out due to COVID. Christian McCaffrey, I think, has been shut down for the rest of the season, and Carolina plays the Denver Broncos. Never mind. Y'all might still win that game. All right, back to the Falcons and Saints. And here's how this game ended. Kyle and Matt Ryan gets the ball, Kyle, and the final series of the game, the second to the final series of the game, Atlanta gets the ball and starts going down the field. All right. Matt Ryan hits Julio Jones. Matt Ryan is literally doing what Matt Ryan does best in the fourth quarter, and that's get the damn ball down the field. Now, mind you, for 3 quarters, Atlanta had gotten the red zone a couple other times and settled for field goals by Younghoe Koo, who leads the NFL in scoring. Kyle, a huge play in the game, which was a 3rd and 11 play from the Saints 39, where Matt Ryan hit Julio Jones for an 18-yard first down. All right. Now, at this point, this is where the sad part kicks in. And this is the irritating part of life comes through. All right. Atlanta gets the ball inside the 20-yard line, Kyle. 1st and 10 from the 21. They give the ball to Todd Gurley. He gets 8 yards down to the 13-yard line, Kyle. We're 1:55 left, and now we got the 2-minute warning. All right. I don't know if I take my damn heads off of this.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, Kyle, we're on the 13-yard line, and it's 2nd and 2. Atlanta decides to give the ball to Todd Gurley on the same damn play again, and he loses 7 yards. Sorry. 2nd and 2, they give him the ball, and he gets tackled for no yards. It's now 3rd and 2.
Mm-hmm.
They run the play a 3rd damn time and lose 7 yards this time. Now Todd Gurley's went backwards. Now, Kyle, up until this point, Todd Gurley had like 4 carries the whole damn game. And now we're giving him the damn football with the time running down. It forced Matt Ryan to have to throw the ball to Julio Jones on 4th and 9 with the damn game on the line. Okay. My quarterback is 6'3", and he might not be mobile. It's 2 fucking yards. Go get him with the quarterback. Or don't run the ball with Todd Gurley on the same play. Kyle, they ran a stretch play where the offensive lineman wasn't stretching. It was like watching Tecmo Bowl. That 3rd down play was like literally watching Tecmo Bowl. Gurley got the ball and the Saints were in the backfield. They called the play up and A on my Nintendo D-pad. They called up and A on the toss route, and Gurley got hit behind the line of scrimmage. Okay? I ain't seen Todd Gurley get hit like that since he was at Georgia. All right. They pushed him back. They leaned his hairline back like Little John. Okay.
You're off.
They leaned back like Fat Joe. Okay. They leaned backwards. Yes. All right. Give credit for head coach. I can't remember his head coach's name because I'm irritated. For saving timeouts, because Atlanta got the ball back, and unfortunately, Atlanta had a chance to get the ball down the field. Matt Ryan threw a pass down a Hail Mary attempt that also got out. You like displaying my pain. I can't wait for Under Construction on Sunday so you guys can blow another 4th quarter lead, and I can watch you guys sweat on your own show.
Wow.
Nothing better is watching 3 Panther fans trying to figure out how the hell did you lose a game to a team who had a player who fumbled a punt on the 5-yard line. Nothing was better than watching 3 guys try to figure out how they lost on air at the same time, and all of them were speechless. All right, Bobby, rant's over. All right, so let's get into our favorite segment.
Huh? You good? You need a hug? Because I'm here for you.
At this point in the season, being a Falcons fan, there's no reason for damn hugs right now. All right? Okay. There's not a reason for a hug. Because right now, my whole goal is to finish in front of the Panthers this year. I can care less what happens going forward. I just need to finish in front of the Panthers. All right. So, Kyle, let's get into Mount Rushmore. And it's me and Kyle's favorite segment of the show, where we have a chance to do a little bit something different and go over our favorite topics. Bobby's going to jump in a second, and maybe Hunter might still be around. So, Kyle, this is my last Mount Rushmore for the year before we kick into the brand new year. So, Kyle, let's have a little fun with this one. Last week, we talked about Thanksgiving, Christmas movies,
yes, we did.
And what movies we consider Christmas.
Indeed.
Now, Kyle, we talked about serial cartoon characters. Well, Kyle, here's a question for you. We talked about different types of mascots. We talked about different types of foods. But, Kyle, let's take this a little bit more Christmassy.
All right. Let's get festive.
All right, Kyle. What is your Mount Rushmore of Christmas cartoon characters? Characters that
cartoon characters.
now, mind you, the character had to have a role in a Christmas special, movie, cartoon, whatever it is. What 4 characters, Kyle, are on your Christmas Mount Rushmore of cartoon characters?
Interesting.
And Muppets do count if you want to use them.
Okay, so it's not just animated, but puppets and claymation are in the game too. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you those.
Okay. Well, let's come right out the gate. First of all, we reviewed it years ago on Hilarity by Default. Check the episode out, and we actually recorded our first Christmas-themed episode where we have a number of seasonal/Christmas movies we're going through. No, Die Hard is not on the list because it's not a damn Christmas movie. But what I'm trying to say about it is this. One of them we did a year back, and unanimously the panel, me, Demosthenes, and TJ all said that Disney's Christmas Carol, only 30 minutes long in length, is a required viewing thing, and you've got to put one Scrooge McDuck on the list. There's no question. If you don't have him there, you're wrong. At me, the SOTG. You normally could see it, but I'm saying it for you so you can hear me say the Twitter, so you can at me, the Student of the Game on Facebook, all that. Okay, there we go. Next in line, listen, for me, I've always been partial to Frosty the Snowman. That song is catchy as hell. All right. I'm the problem. If you don't like it, you can still at me. I'm not wrong for judging me. It's like people trying to say that Russell Wilson can't complete a pass. It's just a bad take, probably. I get it, but I like Frost. Your face, Danny Thompson. Thank you for that. Next up, I gotta go. You gotta go Rudolph, don't you? I mean, if you don't have Rudolph somewhere in here, I feel like you're doing it wrong. And don't come at me with all of the other reindeer, okay? Like I hate that. That's not a thing. There's not 10 reindeer. I begrudgingly give you 9, but only because the song is catchy as all get at in and of itself. Okay. Lastly, I could pull a real wild card and talk about Grandma getting run over by a reindeer and that being a music video that's a cartoon. Not going to do that. But, I mean, you got to give the Chipmunks honorable mention, but I think I'm going to round it out. This is tough. I'm going to, how to do. This last one's tough for me. I had another one in my head and I lost it. You know what? I'll go ahead and throw in the Chipmunks at number 4. If it comes to me, I will put it back at honorable mention. There's my Mount Rushmore. I got Chipmunks, Frosty, Rudolph, and Scrooge McDuck. Okay.
Bobby, what you got, Bobby?
Let's take it a step further. In Rudolph, you gotta love the Misfit toys. Come on, they end up finding a home at the end. You get all teary-eyed.
Okay, all right, that's a good one, Bobby. Continue.
I've heard worse. Carry on.
Mr. Heat Miser from that famous A Year Without Christmas. Mr.
Okay.
Heat Miser.
I just remembered number 4 for me. I'm sorry.
No, but, okay, continue.
I believe
Bobby.
South Park had the Christmas Pooh.
Okay, that's 3.
Of course.
And I'm with Kyle. It's got to be Alvin.
There's another one that's more, but I'm gonna let Danny get it because I think he's got it.
Hunter, are you there, sir?
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's got
Okay.
it, but shouts to him. Kick butt on your final upcoming, sir.
Yes, Kyle. Yes, Hunter. Kick butt. Otherwise, we're gonna kick you when we see you. All right. So, my list. So I'm gonna start. Listen, Rudolph has to be on the list. Okay. I mean, listen. I mean, the man, the kid got beat up. I mean, he fought mountains. He fought snow. He fought abominable snowman, and it's a Christmas tradition. But here's one nobody gave credit to. I'm also putting on my list. Yukon Cornelius.
I was gonna say that.
If it wasn't for Yukon Cornelius, Rudolph would have never got back home. He is the Scottie Pippen of Christmas cartoon characters. He got no love. All right. He's John Paxson. He hit the shot at the end of the game. No one gives Yukon Cornelius credit.
I'll give you John Paxson, rather.
All right, listen. You can't have Christmas without Charlie Brown. All right. Listen, Charlie Brown's got a tree in my house named after him. Okay.
Oh, I get it.
Listen, the true meaning of Christmas doesn't start until Charlie Brown's Christmas special comes on. Okay, damn you, Apple. I don't my daughter. I mean Apple Music and Apple everything else. The damn company, you bastards. All right, listen. Those three are up there. Now, you guys are giving Frosty a lot of love, and Frosty deserves all the love he gets. All right, I had to give you Con Cornelius love because no one gives you Con Cornelius love. But to me, outside of Charlie Brown, the other character that deserves it, I think a little bit even more than Scrooge McDuck, was Mickey Mouse's character in Mickey Christmas Carol.
Bob Cratchit.
Yes. Mickey Mouse is Bob Cratchit. All right, Scrooge McDuck was phenomenal, but Tiny Tim, you bring the Tiny Tim aspect in. You talk about Bobby, talk about the Misfit Toys giving you misty-eyed, but seeing Mickey Mouse playing Bob Cratchit at Christmas is a lot of us. Kyle, a lot of us, Bobby, a lot of us who are working. Yep. We want to be home for Christmas. A lot of times we can't. We have to work. And a lot of us, for me, I can understand where Mickey Mouse is coming from as Bob Cratchit. And he did a phenomenal, that just kind of, it resonated with me. Honorable mention, the girls from Frozen.
Okay, I don't know that I'll count that as Christmas, but it's seasonal. I give you that.
And also Jack Skellington from the Nightmare Before Christmas, the Christmas version of Nightmare.
Again, well, if you consider it a Christmas movie, you could certainly have to include him. You'll have to watch our review of The Nightmare Before Christmas that we did a couple years back to get my take on Hilarity by Default's YouTube channel. But here's the one I wanted to put in at number 4, and I'm a little disappointed, even in myself, for not coming up with it the first time around. Forget Alvin. He's going back to honorable mention. Theodore and Simon with him, and Dave. Well, Dave's always just been a heel. The Grinch, gentlemen. The Grinch needs to be here. Okay?
Here's a question. As a villain character, is his character on the same importance level as a Rudolph?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. He does more to talk about the spirit of Christmas and how anybody can be turned around. I mean, listen, I can't deny the Grinch because he's a villain and then turn around and give Scrooge McDuck the lead spot. I can't do that. Right? So
okay.
I'll put it this way. I'm not, and I don't mean to call Rudolph unessential. Hell, he's on my list too. But Rudolph has less to do with the meaning of Christmas and more about a lesson about, treating everyone with respect. I mean, he's more of a character for political correctness than he is the giving spirit. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's what it is, right?
Okay, can definitely understand that. So here's my question. So guys, we've got our Mount Rushmore, and so I want to know, guys, for those who are watching the show, Bob, anybody in the chat with the Christmas Carol list tonight?
Yeah, we have
something, yeah.
Okay.
Now, I like the way he did it. He went peanuts and gave everybody a casting. I struggled with that. That's where I was. Emmett Otter?
Emmett Otter is slept on, okay? Good call on the Emmett Otter.
I don't remember who that. You put Emmett Otter over the damn Grinch? What's wrong with you people?
Emmett Otter was what you call it? Emmett Otter's jug band. It's Jim Henson. The Black Hill.
Hey, if you can tell me his name, I'll give it to you. Okay, moving on. And don't look it up on the internet.
I know the name.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, but you're not going to say. Yeah,
no, because I want Rodney to figure. I know the name of the character. I watched Charlie Brown enough to know. The only black kid on Charlie Brown. Rodney, anybody else?
Is that Franklin?
Thank you, Bobby.
Well, at least he knows it. Coco.
The Coco.
Polar bears. That's not.
You know what?
That's a good character.
They count though. They are Chris. I give it to him. Listen. I give it to him as much as he gives the love for the college. Coastal Carolina. All right. The Grinch and Rudolph. Got you.
Welcome back.
All right. Oh wow, the main character Nightmare Before Clemson. I don't know. Emmett Otter is a classic story. It really is. I give you, Cortland gets a lot of respect for coming Emmett Otter. That's a sleeper. It's a sleeper. It's like he's a sleeper character. People don't give Emmett Otter his credit. All right, guys. So
4. I don't know. Anyway,
listen. He's kind of like Oscar Robertson when it comes to the greatest NBA players of all time. People don't give Oscar Robertson a lot of love as they used to.
I think he's more like William Mary and was a Cinderella story to get there. I'm saying.
No, he's not Cinderella. Emmett Howard's got respect. All right, guys. So for those who are watching the show, this will be my final show for the year. I am going on sabbatical for the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to say my final thank yous for the year, and then the guys will close the show out. Kyle will hand the show, and Bobby will run the show, and Hunter will run it for the next 3 weeks. I will jump on only for NBA on the episode of the 22nd or the 21st, just to do the NBA preview for the first half hour of the show to break down the season, because I feel like it wouldn't be NBA season without me talking about it.
Great.
But the next 3 weeks, the guys are going to handle the show, and they're in great hands. So please show them much love as possible. So before I go and before we head out, guys, I want to thank both of you guys especially. Before I start, it's my same Christmas and New Year's at the same time. Without these two guys here, Bobby, my business partner up in New Jersey, bringing the show over, helping with the transition after we left Orlando Radio, and keeping this show afloat when we transitioned to Facebook. I mean, we wouldn't be on Zingo Television and Blackjack TV without the guy known as Bobby Blackjack.
Word.
So,
hold on. I-95 Sports Network. You keep saying Blackjack TV.
Well, we bought Blackjack TV, I-95 Sports is all part of the same family. So it's all part of it's all part of the Blackjack Media Group.
Yep.
So if it wouldn't have been for Bobby, as you see in the corner, we wouldn't be on the Blackjack Media Network. We wouldn't be there. We would not have the exposure we have now. Bobby is always behind the scenes. He'll jump in when needed to, but he works tirelessly on this show more than what people will see, because you only see him for 5 minutes. So I've always been appreciative of Bobby. I've known Bobby for years, and one of the most stand-up guys in this industry, in this business. He does follow through what he says. So many people don't follow through, but he's one of the ones that do follow through. To my partner below me, even though he's below me on camera, he's my equal when it comes to a lot of things in this game, in this industry. Kyle and I have known each other for a very long time, and we have written together, we've worked together, we've worked side beside each other in different media events and different outings in different places all across Central Florida. Kyle had no idea what he was getting himself into when he came to come co-host one day at the station. When I say he didn't know he was getting himself into, Kyle and I had talked about doing a show together for a very, very long time. And it was so funny when the show started back, and he was like, "Hey, what happened?" It just so happens it wasn't the right timing. And when Kyle came in that Saturday, it became a different type of dynamic. It's just me and Kyle having a conversation like we've had many a times at UCF games. Or we cover other events together, bowl games or anything else. It's the same banter you see on this show. We do in press boxes and have people laughing on a regular basis.
Except we keep it a little quieter in the press box.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's halftime. But one of the things that Kyle has done, and what a lot of people don't know, is Kyle is one of the hardest working guys I know. And when I say hard working is because he came in not knowing very much about basketball, and he said, "I want to learn more about basketball." Mm-hmm. He's grown so much. He wasn't sure how he was going to be on air. It's one thing for being on radio. It's second being on a television screen on Tuesday, on Mondays and Thursdays. He's transitioned to this thing very well. And he does make this easy for me. When I say he's my pick and roll partner, you can't run the pick and roll without somebody rolling to the basket. And Kyle is perfect with that. If he sets screens, he'll let me have the jump shot. But if I need him to go dunk on something, he's done it. I can let him lead in topics that he's not used to doing. And he's taken it very well. He comes with notes. He works extremely hard. And I've pushed him as much as I can. And every time I'm not on the show, I don't have to worry about it because he's in good hands. He takes a very good job and takes care of the show like it's his own. And as much as he says this is my show, this is actually our show. And I appreciate you. I appreciate both of you guys. I really do. And you guys don't know how much it means. For every person that listens to the show, I mean, even if I give Rodney a bunch of shit or anybody else in these chats, I really appreciate everybody that steps in the show every week, where it's liking, sharing, talking, commenting, sending me text messages, sending me DMs, giving show ideas. We couldn't do this without you guys. because it's fun. It's fun for me and Kyle and Bobby, but it makes it even better when you have interaction. There have been so many weeks where the show's had 200 and 300 or 400 comments over topics.
Yeah.
So I don't have a laundry list of everybody to say thank you to, but I want to say thank you to everybody on the show who's liked and supported and shared the show. 2020 was a weird year because we started on terrestrial radio, we transitioned into doing Facebook Live, now we're transitioning to television, and now with a much more balanced year, we'll be on in much more homes and much more of a bigger scale this year. So I couldn't do it without you guys. Also can't do it without the support staff of all three of us. I couldn't do it without Bobby's support system at home. Not everything needs to be said about his home, about the support system at home. But I know in Kyle's case, Kyle has a very, very supportive wife and 2 beautiful children, which I've met his daughter and hung out with her. She's an amazing, amazing little girl. And his wife has allowed him to do this show every single week and never, to my knowledge, has never complained on this air, jumped on the air, hit Kyle over the head with a frying pan.
That hasn't happened. That's fair.
But I really want to thank you guys as families for being able to support this show, because I couldn't do it without you guys. My support system's always been there, and I want to thank my support system as well too. The ones that have started, the ones that have stayed, the ones that have left, and the ones that are currently on this journey. I love this show and I love doing this every week, but it makes me even better that people that are around are still loving the show at the same time. So I don't have to say names because I don't think I need to. If you know this part is for you, then you know exactly who I'm talking to. Like I said, all the guests that we've had, all the people that have stepped in, I can't, all the different people that have subbed out when I have not been here, and Kyle has brought in G, BP up in Jacksonville. Bobby has stepped in his roles too. Mm-hmm. Any person that stepped in the show in the seat, I want to thank you for making the show even better when I'm not here. So that's my little way of saying thank you to everybody. Like I said, this will be my last show for the rest of the year. No, I'm not leaving. No. But when I come back in the host chair in January, me and Kyle are going back 2 nights a week, and we're going to be even better than we were before. I'm taking the rest of the year off. For those who know, I just got engaged, and my daughter will be here for Christmas, and I have not seen my daughter since I moved in July. And so every second of my moments, with the exception of the 30 minutes I'll be doing this, I will be with her. I also want to thank the team at the 3-point conversion, Raphael Haynes, LA Broadus, Alex Babb, my main man, Ab Stanley, Alan Fields, Cortland Griffin, Karita Parks, Mike Patton, Eric Urbanitz up in our favorite Browns, Troubadour, Malik Jackson, that entire team. I think I've mentioned everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. Oh yeah. I said Alex Babb, Dennis Pendleton, Greg Hurd. So all those people, I mentioned Alan Fields. All those guys and girls on this roster of the 3-point conversion, I came over to 3-point conversion because of the fact of Raphael and I have known each other for a very long time. And I believe in what he's done and what he's bringing across the table. On top of the fact of it's more than just sports, it's more than love. It's the actual being a part of being something special. I knew he was special when I first met him. I knew this project was special. I brought Kyle in because I told Kyle how special this project was. And we've now grown. The site's grown. It's a day-to-day process. And after running a website for 4+ years and writing for different outlets, I feel like I've had more fun writing at this one than I've written any other place before. I can be myself and do the things I need to do, and there's no pressure behind it. So I want to thank that team for making the transition after leaving Sports Illustrated, USA Today, and actually leaving my own website to make things easier. Florida National News, all those places make my transition in my life to the next part of my journalism part much easier. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna let Kyle have his time to do it on another episode when I'm not here. But I just wanted to say thank you. The show went over 4 minutes. I know I gotta go, and the crazy part is I've got to go back to my day job, but. I wanted you guys to know, like, how special you guys are, how much you guys mean to me in this show. I couldn't do it without you guys. I couldn't do it without the 3-point conversion crew supporting. I can't do it without my support system. And yes, my heart is at home. My 3 hearts are all at home at 3 different places. My heart with my mother, my heart with my daughter, and my heart with my wonderful and supporting and loving fiance at the same time. So, like I said, this is my Seacrest out until January 5th. I want to wish everybody a happy and safe New Year's and a safe Christmas. And just remember, just keep yourselves healthy. Don't do anything crazy. If you're going to be at home, just stay at home. No big social gatherings. And just watch. The NBA starts on the 22nd. We have great college football. We have the NFL playoffs coming. There's plenty of stuff. The NHL is coming right on the corner. Just stay at home and be safe. So, like I said, Kyle, Bobby, I love you guys. I really do. Like, bottom of my heart, straight up.
Yep.
So, for myself, Kyle, Bobby, you won't see me on the air on Monday, but you'll see those two guys. They're in great hands. I'll see you guys after the first of the year. Happy New Year. I'm out. Peace.